Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Mr. Ahmad Burhanuddin MA as an examiner of comprehensive examination. So let me to introduce myself. My name is Riza Matumiani by the student number 2052214 and 9. In this video, I will answer several questions as comprehensive exam material. Okay, so the question number one is, what is a teacher? So, according to Dr. Muhyiddin Nur Kamal, MPD, 2019, in his book entitled Guru, Suatu Kajian Teoritis dan Praktis, the teachers are all individuals who have the authority and responsibility to guide and nurture students. A teacher is a professional educator who guides and then educates and facilitates students in the learning process. A teacher is not only responsible for imparting knowledge but also for shaping the character and then attitudes and skills of students. In addition, teachers play an important role in helping students develop their academic, social, and emotional potential. Okay, so question number 2 is mention and explain the two main duties of a teacher. So according to Berliana et al. 2024, the teachers have 5 duties, namely teaching, educating, assessing, evaluating, and providing moral and mental encouragement. However, the two main duties out of the 5 are teaching and educating. The first duty of teacher is to teach all students the knowledge they have acquired in depth. In relation to teaching duties, teachers are expected to be able to convey the material written in books or other media to students, and then provide examples and guide students to achieve learning objectives, so that in the future students can apply the knowledge they have acquired in their daily lives. And then the second one is to educate. Each student has their own character, which sometimes helps the teaching and learning process or vice versa. This is the duty of a teacher to educate students so that they follow the right path in education. Teachers must set an example for students in terms of discipline and then responsibility, honesty, and respect so that they can become good individuals in society. Okay, question number 3 is, what is an RPP or modul ajar, and then explain its function and contents. So, modul ajar and RPP differ in their function and use. Modul ajar are flexible guide that support activity-based learning. And then modul ajar focus on student engagement and are suitable for the Merdeka curriculum. And then while RPP are documents designed to guide teachers in managing structured classroom learning. Both complement each other in the learning process to ensure the achievement of educational goals. Modul ajar are learning guides to support learning, both independent and face-to-face. Meanwhile, RPP are learning implementation plan documents for teacher and student activities. Based on its purpose, the module ajar helps students learn independently or support active learning. Meanwhile, the RPP helps teachers carry out learning according to plan. And then based on its focus and content, module ajar focus on students. And then covering objectives, material activities, and evaluation. Meanwhile, RPP focus on teachers, containing learning steps and assessments based on based on evaluation and approach, module ajar have formative and summative assessment. And module ajar focus on the process, meanwhile RPP focus on the result learning outcomes according to the plan. Okay, question number 4 is mention teaching method that you know and then give an example of one that you use during your PLP. So, various commonly used learning methods include teacher method. Teacher method involves the teacher delivering information orally to students. Although often criticized for its one-way nature, the teacher method still has its place in certain situations, especially for conveying new concept or factual information. And then discussion method. In this method, students are given the opportunity to exchange ideas and then ask questions and express their opinions. Discussions can be conducted in small groups or with the entire class. And then demonstration method. This method involves teachers or students showing how to do something or illustrating a concept. Demonstration are very effective for teaching practical skills or specific procedures. And then experimental method. Students conduct experiments to prove a theory or concept. This method is very useful in science learning and encourage understanding through direct experience. And then the last one is simulation method. This method involves creating artificial situation that resemble real life condition. Students can practice skills or apply knowledge in a safe and controlled environment. So, one of the learning methods I used during PLP was the discussion method. In this activity, I divided the students into several groups. Each group was given randomly arranged pieces of analytical exposition paragraphs. The students were asked to discuss and work together to arrange the paragraphs pieces into a short poster based on 6 prepared themes. Each student receives one paragraph fragment, which they must place or paste in the correct order to form a coherent text according to the theme. After that, each group presents the posters they have created in front of the class. This activity encourages students to work together and think critically and improve their understanding of text structure. Okay, question number 5 is mention and explain several evaluation methods and then give an example that you use during your teaching practice. Um, there are two evaluation methods that can be used in the learning process, namely formative and summative assessment. Number 1 is formative assessment. Formative assessment is an evaluation conducted during the learning process. Its purpose is to monitor students' learning progress and provide feedback so that the learning process can be improved. For example, include quizzes and then daily assignment or class discussion. Then, number 2 is summative assessment. Summative assessment is an evaluation conducted at the end of learning period, such as at the end of subject, semester, or program. The purpose is to determine the extent to which students have achieved the learning objectives. For examples include midterm exams and final exams. When conducting PLP, I use formative assessment. I use interactive quizzes through the Bamboozle and Quizzes applications. In this activity, students are divided into several groups and they answer questions that appear in the quiz game. After the quiz is complete, we correct the answers together in class. At this stage, I not only show the correct answers, but also explain why those answers are correct. In this way, students can understand the material better and know their mistakes so they can correct them. Question number 6 is what are cognitive, psychomotoric, and affective skills? According to Bloom's taxonomy in Lucia Hermin Winning C 2020, the cognitive aspect is a key aspect of many curricula and benchmarks for assessing child development. Cognitive means awareness and refers to the process of knowing and knowing itself. In other words, the cognitive aspect is the aspect related to thinking or the thinking process, namely the abilities and activities of the brain that develop rational abilities. There are 6 cognitive dimensions, namely knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluations. And then the second is the psychomotoric aspect. This aspect relates to physical activities, skills, and the ability to act after receiving instruction. It involves nerve and muscle coordination, such as writing, exercising, or assembling. Based on W.S. Winkle, 1999, classifies the psychomotor domain into 7 levels as follows: perception, and then set, guide response, and then mechanical response, and then complex response, adjustment, and creativity. The third is affective development aspect, which is everything related to emotions such as gratitude, values, feelings, enthusiasm, interest, and attitude towards something. This aspect includes how individuals accept and then respond to and internalize values in the social sphere. According to Bloom in Lucia Hermin Meningsi 2020, this aspect includes 5 elements, namely receiving or attending, and then responding, and then value, and then organization and characterization. The last question is mention and explain the 4 competencies of a teacher, and then which ones do you feel you are lacking. So, based on law number 14 of 2005 concerning teachers and lecturers, a teacher must have 4 main competencies, namely pedagogical competence, and then professional competence, personality competence, and social competence. Number 1 is pedagogical competence. Pedagogical competence is the ability of teachers to manage the learning process of students. This competence includes understanding students' characteristics and then planning lessons, implementing lessons, and evaluating learning outcomes. Teachers must be able to choose appropriate methods and then strategies and learning media so that learning objectives can be achieved effectively. The second one is professional competence. Professional competence is the ability of teachers to master subject matter in depth in accordance with the field they teach. Um, teachers teachers not only understand basic concept but are also able to explain the material clearly, related to everyday life, and keep up with developments in science and technology in their field. And the third one is personal competence. Personal competence is a teacher's ability related to attitude, morals, and personal character. A teacher must have a stable, mature, wise, and authoritative personality. Teachers must also be good role models for students in terms of attitude, behavior, and ethics. And the last one is social competence. Social competence is the ability of teachers to communicate and interact effectively with various parties, such as students, fellow teachers, parents, and the community. Teachers must be able to work together and respect differences and build good relationships in the educational environment. Personally, I feel that I still need to improve my pedagogical skills, especially in designing more creative and interesting learning activities. To improve, I try to read educational references and then observe more experienced teachers and reflect on my teaching practice so that my teaching skills continue to develop. Okay, I think that's all of my video. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.